Howdy and welcome to the Mighty Mojo Chuck channel. I's a Chuck. So over on Twitter, I've noticed a lot less nudity in my timeline. And going back to October, Twitter made an announcement, and Twitter is going to issue new rules, user rules, to crack down on non-consensual nudity and unwanted sexual advances. Now, then, I don't think they're going to crack down on nudity altogether. It's non-consensual nudity that they're going to crack down on. You know, that's where the people, they either are pretending to do like upskirt shots and that kind of stuff. Also included that is creep shots. I'm not even familiar what that is. And hidden camera content. I know what that is. Usually it's staged. It's not real. But you do have people that get out there and every once in a while you'll hear it in your local news where somebody's being arrested doing weirdness. Generally in the porn industry itself, it's staged. It's entertainment like wrestling. I don't pretend to really understand it. I don't. But, yeah, Twitter's going to crack down on that kind of stuff. Yeah, I had to look up what a creep shot is because I really had no idea. According to the Urban Dictionary, a creep shot is like where somebody gets out and takes pictures of a woman's behinds, their butts in yoga pants, or like camel toe shots, or cleavage shots where they're out like on a subway or a mall and doing those type of shots of women. In other words, the women are not giving permission for that kind of stuff. And obviously that's not good. That's not good behavior, obviously. There again, but like in porn, it's staged. It's not real. But you do have people that get out and do that. And like I said, when the women realize what's being done or they discover it, sometimes on your local news, you'll see where someone's being arrested for doing that kind of weirdness. And it is weird. If that's your fetish, I'm sorry. It's weird. I'm sorry. It is. It's weird. Oh, Chuck, you don't judge me. Don't you say I'm weird. Don't judge me. That's just wrong. That's a microaggression. You calling me weird. Don't do any microaggressions. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't say I'm weird just because I like to look at camel toe or big-butted women in yoga pants, or I like to look at pictures of big old cleavage with a little nipple hanging out sometimes. I just like that kind of stuff. Don't call me weird. Don't call me weird. Well, like I said, in porn where it's staged, and it's provocative, okay, it doesn't hurt anybody. But somebody gets out and starts taking pictures of real people that don't have no clue what's going on. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. If you enjoy, the way porn stages it, that's. But no, don't do that to women. Don't do that to men. If men's walking around with a big old camel toe, or yoga, or wearing yoga pants, those bicycle shorts. I don't understand those bicycle shorts. I haven't worn them, so I don't know how comfortable they are or not. Because I'm big, I'm heavy. I'm big and heavy. If you got a big and heavy fetish, I'm your man. Well, if you like men, yeah. If you don't like men, probably not. I don't know. And Twitter's also going to start cracking down on what they call hate symbols, violent groups, and tweets that glorify violence. And this is where they're going to start going down the same type of rabbit hole that YouTube's been going down. YouTube's been going down a rabbit hole where they think that they're bots and they're people that's been training their bots. like their bots are the style. Come here, boy. Come on, bot. Come on. We want you to learn. We want you to learn what we want on YouTube and what we don't want on YouTube. Now, you see, this is a conservative. We don't want a conservative on YouTube. Here's a liberal. Now, we like liberals, so now be a sweet boy, and you leave the liberals alone. You just crack down on the bots. We don't like bots. We don't like conservatives. We just like liberals. Now understand the difference, bot. Be a good boy and understand the difference. So I mean, YouTube's been going down a rabbit hole. It's quite obvious they've been going down a rabbit hole. They're actually YouTube itself has probably actually been breaking the discrimination laws. Because in truth, they haven't just been using algorithms and their bots to siphon through the videos. They've been using real people, and those real people often are themselves part of hate groups. And the body of people that Twitter has had judging tweets already, and they've been doing that. They've already been reviewing tweets. The people do a miserable job generally, and if that's what you're doing on Twitter, I'm sorry, you're doing a miserable job for the most part. You have a bias, and you're building how you judge tweets into your own bias, or somebody's trying to be funny, and you don't know the difference between humor and serious. You have no clue between the difference between humor and serious. You really don't. And there's that bias there, that's against conservatives, and you can tell that by the trending topics and what Twitter puts at the top of the trending topics. Twitter discriminates against conservatives. They do. And of course, with me, they have no idea whether I'm liberal or conservative, because sometimes my tweets are liberal, sometimes my tweets are conservative. I just whatever mood I'm in. Damn, I don't want to put all those sons of bitches to death. Yes, I believe in the death penalty. Yes, I believe in the death penalty. And then another day, no. The only time that it's right to put somebody to death is in defense of oneself or one's community. Self-defense. That's the only time it's okay to kill somebody. It doesn't matter whether you're an individual or a government. The only time the death penalty is acceptable is when it's to protect society. And that should be the criteria to decide whether someone is put to death or not. Is it to protect society? If it's for revenge, if the trial is conducted as where they have all these people, standing up calling for revenge, I want that son of a bitch dead. If the trial is conducted in that way, no. So, but it depends, sometimes I hear about a case and I'm more on like, I want that son of a bitch dead. God damn what he did, And other times, I go back to my liberal side, and which I tend not to believe in the death penalty, with exception. There are times that the death penalty actually does work to protect people. But that should be the criteria, in my opinion. When I'm not emotional and not thinking, through emotions, and we all get, it doesn't matter whether you're liberal or conservative. It's not altogether being a hypocrite. Sometimes thinking one way and another time thinking another way. It just you look at something and it strikes you a certain way, and sometimes it doesn't matter what you believe. Philosophically, intellectually, when you see something, that just kind of goes, your intellect goes out the window. It's like, damn it, that son of a bitch, But generally speaking, I tend not to support the death penalty. That has nothing to do with the subject I'm talking about. But anyway, when you've got a group of people that's judging videos or judging tweets, that bias is there. Sometimes the person judging is more hate-filled than the person they're judging. And it depends on the day and the mood they're in and how they read something or how they view something, to whether they consider it hate or not hate. You can read a joke and one time you think, oh, it's so funny. I mean, I'm going to be honest. When I saw that Al Franken picture, I didn't realize that the woman was actually asleep, and I didn't realize that something may have happened beyond the picture. But to me, it looked like a vaudeville routine. The expression on his face, his hand gesture. So I thought it was more like a vaudeville routine. And yeah, I laughed when I saw the picture the first time. I did. I laughed. And I know the elite media, oh, nobody laughed at that. There was nothing funny. Well, if you didn't know the full story and you just looked at the picture and you thought it was like a vaudeville routine, yeah, I like vaudeville. I like that sexy humor. I do. So, it depends on how you look at stuff. If you realize the woman's actually asleep, not playing possum, which I'm not sure. She says she was asleep. I guess you have to assume she was asleep. But anyway, once you know that part of it, it looks worse, But when I just saw the picture, I thought, I laughed. I did. And Twitter is, revenge, what they call revenge porn, or posting pictures of your ex just to piss them off or to get even with them. That's not allowed, and that shouldn't be allowed. You shouldn't post pictures of people without their consent. No, and that's YouTube too. A lot of YouTubers get out and they take pictures out, and you don't really know whether they've got consent forms or not with what they're doing. And like I said, you should not post pictures of people without their permission. And generally, I would guess there is permission. I would guess a YouTuber is smart enough to have the person sign something before they actually do a so-called random interview. And of course, there again, some of these random interviews are totally staged. YouTube or local media, a lot of interviews, they've had a pre-interview. They know what's going to be said. The person practically has what they're going to say memorized. It's like a script in their head. Because, when something actually is random and it's like somebody comes at you like all of a sudden and it's like you don't know who they are, you haven't talked to them beforehand, and they just come at you, your first impression is you're not smooth. Because you're what? I don't know what? Are in this day and age, you think everybody's comfortable on camera, but actually when that camera comes at you and you're not ready for it, majority of people are not natural on camera. They're not natural on camera. Even when I'm doing, like one of the first videos I posted on YouTube, I was looking back at it. And it was kind of, there was unease there. There was unease there. Of course, I stutter about naturally. I guess you realize that from me talking. I just, at times, in real life, I don't stutter that much. But for some reason, when I get on these videos and I start talking, I'm trying to think, what you're trying to feel. You don't want a bunch of dead space, silent space in the video. So you just kind of rattle on. And when I do that, I do tend to stutter about some. Or I say, too much. That's a substitute for stuttering. When you say or you go, that's a substitute for stuttering. Naturally, I'm really not a stutterer per se, or I just haven't ever noticed it. I'm not like somebody that takes 10 minutes to get, a word out. I'm not like that. But, when I'm doing these videos, sometimes I do stutter about. I realize it. So anyway, Twitter's going to crack down on certain stuff, and that may be the reason you're seeing less nudity in your Twitter timeline. Is some of the people are pulling back for it because they don't know how Twitter's going to judge it. Just regular, ordinary nude pictures. And of course, porn is fantasy. Even when stuff's staged, they want people to kind of think it's like it's really happening. Because suspending belief, suspending disbelief, I guess would be the better way to put it. That's part of whether you're doing regular television or porn. You want porn. You want to suspend, that disbelief. You want the people to get into it and really think it's going on. But, so I don't know. Twitter already has a problem with the way they judge stuff, though, that they do. So they may be just going down a rabbit hole that's going to finish them off. I don't know, maybe not. Like some of that stuff, like hopefully I make clear, I don't think you should get out and take random pictures of people without their permission. I just don't. I wouldn't want somebody to take a random picture of me. Like like I live out in the country. This isn't city. This is country. We own 30 acres out here, and our driveways are real long driveways, so we're kind of back. So, like if you got to pee, you don't run to the house, 'cause especially when you're getting old, you run to the house. You might not make it to the house, kind of like a kid in diapers. You start getting old, you got to go, and there ain't no point in staying in pain. So, you pull it out and you pee. Well, it would be bad if a drone plane or Google satellite imageries has a picture of me peeing there, on the satellite images or the drone image, and I say it would be bad. I'm not particular. Actually, I don't really per se really give a fuck. When I was young and pretty, I actually was bashful about my body when I was young and pretty. But it's weird when you get old. When you get old and ugly, you don't care about that stuff as much because you pretty much know. I guess it's because on some level you realize nobody's going to want to mess with you anyway. But when you're young and pretty, you in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, somebody might want to mess with you, and you don't want to do that kind of stuff. You don't want to be messed with, so you don't really want to bring it on. So you're more self-conscious about that kind of stuff. But when you're old and ugly, you pretty much know nobody's going to want to mess with you anyway. Oh, nobody want to mess with me. It just breaks my heart. Yeah. Where were those days where those people wanted to slap my butt and feel my crotch? What happened to those people? Oh, man. Anyway, that's all. Much thanks for watching and listening. Thank you. Hit that subscribe button.